Hello and welcome to another edition of the Gravestone Pros here at North Country Memorials. We are so glad that you've joined us today. It is going to be a fantastic day. My dad and I have been making gravestones for 30 plus years. Today, we're going to show you how we engrave into granite. So like I said in the intro, we've been doing this for 30 plus years, and it's been a whole lot of fun the last many years doing it on YouTube, showing it to you all. So if you enjoy these videos, you want to help us out, we would appreciate a subscribe to the channel. A comment is always welcome as well. So go ahead and leave those down below. Anyways, we're going to jump right into the video and get rolling here. When we're starting, you'll see Dad there with that glove on. He is working on dirtying up the letters because he wants to be able to see them later on. We'll talk about it at that point. But then he basically gets everything trimmed down to size. We've already taken and measured it before we cut it out on the computer. And then he's going to go around and take the outline out. The reason for this is because right now that face of the stone is all polished and we want to get the polish off of there. That is going to give us a very natural contrast. Then when we sink those letters deep into the stone, it'll create a nice shadow, and without any paint, we can really get that to show up and to last a long, long time. So he goes ahead and peels out that line, cuts around. There's a mylar. That yellow on the back is a mylar that holds all the middles of the A's and different things together. Right there you could see he was doing a little bit of gluing on the stencil. That way this stencil could stick to it. This is going to protect the rest of the stone while we go ahead and sandblast. There's parts we do want to have blasted, and parts, of course, that we do not want to have blasted. There's finishes on the stone that are just how they're supposed to be, and so we don't want to hit those with sandblast. So he's just going ahead and covering it all up. Now, this part here we call frosting or paneling. It's just simply blasting and taking off the polish. You go over it several times, make sure you got it all. Now, we're going to come back over and then put in some glue. That way that mylar will stick back right onto that rock surface. And now that he's back to what we call weeding or peeling, this is where he really wants to be able to see those lines. And all those dark lines that you see, because he dirtied them up, it really enhanced them. Otherwise, they almost look like there's nothing there when you're first doing it. So it's very nice to be able to go ahead and do it when it's dirty like that. This part here, he's just working on the flower. I always enjoy watching the designs and the carvings. Peeling them out is always really fun as you get to see what's kind of there. It kind of comes to life almost. And it's a little more intricate, and therefore, in my opinion, it's a little more fun as well. But he gets the last final details on that hummingbird, and then he's ready to go to the sandblast booth. Now, he's taken and tilted this stone up because it's a slanted style stone, and now he's getting measurements, getting everything straight and ready to go. That way he can go ahead and start the blasting process. And now, that machine that we have just goes back and forth. It's got compressed air and sand, and it's just going down one line at a time over the entire stone. And it's going to go over, it's going to go back up, and then it'll do several more passes. But we're just going to show you the first couple, because after the first couple, it all kind of looks the same. But you can see it's going over back and forth, back and forth. Now, the reason it's turning dark like that on the stencil is it heats up. There's a lot of friction created by all of that sand, and it's coming out there quite fast, and so it creates heat and therefore changes the color of the stencil. So you can always see what stencil has been blasted on and what stencil is virgin, because it won't be all dark like that. So now he's just kind of checking, making sure he's got his line thicknesses correct. Sometimes you might have to hand cut something a little bit more. So once you've done a pass, it's good to kind of double check, and then he'll just continue up the rest of the way, and then he would do some more after that. So that's the process. Next week I will take showing you pulling the stencil off and cleaning the stone. That way it's ready to go to the cemetery. And this particular stone is going to be going to a cemetery very close to us, just across the gorge, as I like to call it. And we'll hopefully be able to revisit this, show you us setting it there in the cemetery. It's always very rewarding seeing a stone when it's all finished and done, when it goes into the cemetery and it's all done. I really enjoy that part, seeing it there, knowing that hundreds of years from now, that product that we worked and we took a lot of care and time on is going to be sitting right there. Anyways, tune in next week. You'll get to see the rest of this stone being worked on. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.